Hello, I'm Nadia, and I just started my weight loss journey. And like many other people, I am considering starting a little blog to basically share my experience and what's going through my head, and not only for maybe to just sort of share with other people and communicate and you know have a connection with other people who create a connection with other people who are going through the same as me, but also because it's for myself. It's probably just to uh, have a fixed point, a moment in time that is recorded, that it's there to remind me where I was mentally, spiritually, and even physically then, perhaps at the beginning, and perhaps just all throughout, and to look back at a video where I said something specifically useful for myself, and say, okay, that's the sort of mind frame I'm looking for. So if you are also starting your journey and also, or perhaps thinking to start your journey, you probably have heard that one very very important thing about weight loss, and not only with weight loss, but going through journeys of development, um, or self improvement, it's got much to do with your mindset. Um, Now I know so that this day and age there's a lot of opposite thinking about, regarding this, as the losing fat mass, reducing your fat mass is because losing weight is also very, I wouldn't say wrong term, but is inaccurate, or not even inaccurate, is not a precise description of what this is an attempt to reduce the fat mass within my body. Okay. So in this day and age there's a lot of opposition towards this attempt at people attempting to try to lose fat mass, aka weight, or dieting, or whatever you want to call it. Once again, dieting is not really descriptive term, because a diet is not what we think it is. As diet is just the way you eat, so somebody can change their diet, but they will always have a diet, even though it could be a bad diet, but it is known, dieting is known as something that you do to lose weight, to improve, as a positive, so improving your diet. Okay, so that is this general view of you shouldn't even try to do this, because who are you doing it for? You're not doing it for yourself, that's for sure. You are doing it for society, because society has put this idea in your head that you should be thinner to be prettier, and you should be this and that. You should look in a certain way in order to be liked, in order to be accepted. But I believe that there's a lot of people who want to lose weight perhaps do want to look better and be liked and be accepted, and perhaps be popular, be seen under a different light. That is possible. And I agree that that's not a good reason to do it because you should never do anything for somebody else when it's about you, when you shouldn't sacrifice, or no, I wouldn't even say that. I would say you shouldn't do something like this specifically for somebody else. You shouldn't try to reduce your fat mass for the for acceptance, because at the end of the day, it doesn't. I mean, people if they want to be mean to you, they will always find a way. And even if you will look, I would say, attractive from a classic, you know, let's just say objectively attractive, okay? Even if you are objectively really attractive, there will always be somebody who wants to put you down and say bad things about you. And what you need to remember in that case is that what they say about you is really it says more about about who they are, not about who you are. Then again, we can't exist without sort of like bouncing back. No, we can't. We don't live. We don't exist in isolation, you know. But if somebody comes to me and says, "Oh, you're too fat," you know, you're too fat, or you're too ugly, or you don't walk straight, or you say silly things, or a lot of the time, these people are observing in me something that they are afraid of, or they dislike about themselves. So perhaps somebody who could say to me, "You are too fat," is a person who is terrified by the idea of being fat, or they have been fat and they don't want to be fat, you know, again, or alternatively, say for example, something that I noticed that I used to do, I watched a lot of programs where the protagonists were really overweight people, meaning severely overweight people, and their journey of weight loss sometimes would lead to success and sometimes it wouldn't. And in both cases, it made me feel good about myself because I was not in that situation. And I was thinking, at least I'm not in that situation, you know. I am overweight, but I'm not that bad. And it makes me think, damn, I kind of like relished in the suffering of somebody else, but also in their successes, you know. I wasn't completely mean, you know. Also, it was an interesting story, and it tells much about society, you know, modern society. So it wasn't only for me to feel better about myself that I was watching it, but it was definitely, you know, part of it. So what I'm trying to say is, you shouldn't really worry too much about what people say, if not at all. You should really listen to the voice within. If you really listen closely, you can hear, and you can hear the truth, and sometimes you hide the truth from yourself. So I'm gonna say to you, you need to have a reason to do this, because the reason will motivate you throughout the journey for sure. And there will be moments where you will fall back into bad habits. It won't always be a straight line. And I'm saying this because I have been through the journey before and I failed many times. But recently I told myself this: it's okay to fail. I will keep trying until I succeed. So I will keep trying until I succeed, so I could fail again and it doesn't matter. Right, so that's what I told myself. The second thing I told myself is, why am I doing it? Why do I want to reduce the fat mass? You know, I've been wanting to do it for a while. I've been meaning to do it. You know, I've been saying, okay, I need to try and eat better and do this, and do that. Okay. And I wasn't doing it. And it was not that I was in denial or anything like that. I just figured it does take a lot of concentration, a lot of focus to change a habit that is rooted in your routine. And I am a person of routine as well. So I have to put a lot of effort into changing my routines because I really rely on them. And I was struggling to focus onto what I was eating because no matter what, in order to lose fat mass, you need to reduce your calories and be in a calorie deficit. And doesn't really matter so much. Well, it does, but it's not so much how you do it, like what it is that you're cutting off. But it's really a calorie deficit. But it would be good if you ate food that also provided your body with good substances and minerals, and also losing weight, losing fat mass, it will be damaging to a degree for the body, especially if you do it too fast. Could be damaging for the skin. I mean to say, I'm not damaging, that sounds bad. I mean that it will take some effort, not only mental, but your body will have to readapt. That's what I'm trying to say. And so if you give the body good food, vegetables, and drink a lot of water and all the things that you probably already know, you are providing a good building material. Let's say it's as if you are rebuilding your home, your temple. The body is a temple and all that. So you are rebuilding it. So you are investing into really good materials for this project. So I don't think that just cutting off calories is the whole story. It's really a process, a big process. But your mind, well, why would you want to do it? In my case, I want to do it because I have been feeling I'm in pain. I've been in pain as my feet hurt, my knees creak. I feel tired all the time. Weird stuff has been happening with my heart. I get palpitations, and the doctor was blunt, and he said to me, "You need to lose weight." Because the truth is that the symptoms that you're describing, and I also have a foot that swells all the time, not both of them, but just the one. I think, and this is just me, I'm not a doctor, but I genuinely think there's some sort of blockage or damage within the lymphatic system of this leg. It happened during the summer. It was as if something burst, and then suddenly this foot was really, really swollen and couldn't hold it anymore. The swelling happened a lot before then, but it would always go back to being a normal sized the foot, and then at one point it became a pitted edema in this foot, and I can't stand really high temperatures, so summer is a difficult time for me, and right now is summer, and so I've had all these changes, and I am only 32. Now, I'm almost 32. I'm 31 right now, but I'm almost 32. So I'm young, and I shouldn't really go through all these pains if I can avoid it. And that's really the thing. We have control over certain things in our life. Many things, actually. And there are so many others that we don't control at all. The things that we can't control, we should just even stop trying to control them. So the external factors is just like a stoic approach. And I know this, and my boyfriend was just mentioning it yesterday, and I wholeheartedly agree. There are so many things that you cannot change, the behavior of others, but you can change your own behavior and the way you react to the things that happen to you. So I'm thinking that I have control over this, and I have no excuses not to do it, not to give this opportunity to myself to function at my best and to stop suffering, And I'm breathing also pretty badly during the night. I think I had a deviated septum when I was younger, and then they fixed my teeth. I had a now I can't think of the word. Braces? Anyway, my teeth were fixed, and now they're straight. They didn't used to be like this, And actually, the dentist, they actually installed this. It was like a metallic structure with it in my palate that actually widened it and fixed my septum slightly. So I don't really know if my septum is straight now, but I have a particularly small nose, and actually, um, if I if my nose get blocked, I can't even breathe. It's really hard for me when I have sinusitis. It is really difficult. So I don't breathe naturally very easily through my nose. So I made it worse by gaining this weight, this fat mass, because now I breathe even worse during the night, which is affecting my energy levels, it's affecting my heart, my circulation, my bones, everything. And why? Why should I stay like this? And that's why I would say to the ladies who support, ladies and gent who support, and and non, everyone who supports the what's it called, beauty every size movement. Or so what is beauty? So beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. It's not it's obviously there is a standardized beauty that is really much based on both, I guess. I would say there are elements of the standardized beauty that are completely explainable. Health, general health, uh, beauty, so good skin, good hair, person who's healthy in general. That's like a easily biologically explainable. Like, it's fine. But then again, there are so many different shades of what beauty is. So nobody basically is saying that you are universally ugly, because you aren't. And what does it matter anyway? Anybody can find somebody who loves them, or there will be somebody out there who understands you. I truly believe that. And my way didn't stop me to have a really happy relationship. I'm engaged now, and I'm going to get married next year, hopefully. So this is all to do with me. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. So the first really thing is your mind needs to be into it. It needs to be motivated by something that has got nothing to do with societal expectations. But also, you shouldn't tell yourself that you're healthy and you're fine when you're really not, because eventually it will come back to you. Because the truth is that our bodies were not made to carry this much weight. Because if you think about it, back in the day, in fact, it was the problem was the opposite. People starved and died. People really starved and died a lot back in the day. There was a very high child mortality. People really didn't live over 40, 50. By the time you were 40, 50, you were basically gone. Because it was a completely different sort of outlook. It was a completely different thing. But at the same time, in nature, you just didn't get to eat that much. And why do we love sweet foods this much, or why do we love fatty food? Because they are very rich in calories. And back in the day, if you were a basically starving person, and usually, unfortunately, you were, unless you were wealthy, that flavor of sweet or fatty, that was precious calories for you to survive. And maybe you could get it once a year, and that was it. But now it's that there's so much availability of this, and the problem is the opposite. You actually need to tell yourself, okay, thank you, universe, you're allowing me to not starve. Okay, I'm not gonna starve, and in this Western world, I'm not gonna starve. But now it's me. I have to get to know how I'm supposed to eat, because we don't even know how we're supposed to eat anymore. I think I didn't know how I was supposed to eat until recently. And because I wasn't an overweight person, I've been overweight this much as slightly obese for the past, I would say, 7 years. It's still a long time. Now the body is used to being in the state. So I need to change my habits because I need to I want to feel lighter, like not only physically but also mentally. I was also having a lot of negative thoughts as well about um sort of I was feeling guilty, but not because um I was doing something wrong because the world says it's wrong. I knew I was damaging myself because I could feel it in my bones. I could feel it in all of me that this was not good for me. I Anybody can say anything they want, but my body was straightforward with me. It was like, you're not fine. This is not okay. And that's what I'm saying. Back in the day, people, as I was starving, now we have the opposite problem. And yes, I was saying, I grew up in Italy, right? I'm Italian. And I ate so much food all the time. I ate so much. But because our diet, we didn't have, I don't know about now because I haven't been in Italy for 9 years. I haven't lived there. From what I can see, it's still like that pretty much. My size, which is 48, I think, um, it's not easy to find in the shops, whilst in Britain it's a very common size. I'm considered plus, but plus size like more than I am here. Here I'm like at the beginning of what plus is. If I take a step back, I'm not even plus anymore. Um, but in Italy, I am definitely, and it was very difficult to find, for example, a dress for my sister's wedding. Um, it was very hard, and basically, I had to buy what fit me rather than what I liked. And everyone, including my mother, made a big deal out of it without even knowing that they were hurting my feeling. And I even sort of laughed it off for how ridiculously more judgmental Italians are regarding these things. But I'm not mad at it because in Italy we really do give value to good food. So that funny thing about Italians getting offended because spaghetti, if somebody snaps spaghetti in half. But maybe it's because Italians cherish food, good food. It's a beautiful thing, food, and especially the one that comes from the earth and that is produced by your own hard work, you know. And there was love put into bringing that element to our table, to your table. There was love into producing, uh, into bringing up that piglet or the animal, or the producing that cheese, or growing those tomatoes, and even making that pasta. I said to my boyfriend, my fiance, that it's grand for divorce for me if if he snaps the spaghetti in half, because this is really like, for me, it's food is precious. But as I said, I used to eat a lot and I wasn't fat because our diet was really balanced. Um, we ate, for example, for breakfast, I would probably have something sweet like a bowl of cereal. But mid morning, we didn't eat a lot, like maybe have a fruit. For lunch, we'll have like a plate of pasta or sometimes cheese and a little bit of vegetables, some tomatoes, maybe a little bit of ham. We didn't eat drink pop. We just had water on the table. Sometimes wine, but I didn't really drink it. I tried wine when I was really young. For maybe I was 8 when I tried wine first, and I don't drink now. I am completely, I don't want to say sober, but I just don't drink. I don't care for it. I use wine for cooking though, and then I would say mid morning, mid afternoon, we would probably have some fruit, really nice fruit, and sometimes we would have a little cake, but not that much. And dinner time, we could even have a little pizza. Like my father would even buy the frozen pizzas from Lidl. But a pizza was shared normally, like would have half a pizza each, and they weren't really large. Mm, Sometimes I just have a cup of milk for dinner. And you say, well, we didn't eat much then. Well, most of the time, no. And then, but I wasn't even hungry because my body, that's what it expected, and I was fine. And if you see my pictures, I wasn't even too skinny. I was sort of normal sized, even when I was a little bit chubbier when I was around 19. And then when uh, we ate a lot sometimes, or when we had family lunches or big events or festivities, we would eat a lot, a lot. But because during the, yeah, you just didn't really stuff your face all the time. You were sort of like normal, your weight was normal, and the best thing was that you didn't worry about it at all. I was never worried about my weight. I was never thinking, oh, I should be on a diet. I need to eat less. I just ate whatever I wanted. Um, but because what was offered to me was already good to begin with, it was good food, but good not because it only tasted good. It was good for my body as well, I'm sure. And I was not even super active, but sometimes my father and I would go to get like wild, not necessarily what herbs, but wild spinach or asparagus out in the countryside, and that was really nice. And then we will cook it. I will make ravioli with my mom with a wild spinach. It's called bietola. It's a type of plant that grows in the wild where I'm from. So for me, I know that for me, I really started to gain weight when I worked in McDonald's for 1 year, and then I put on most of the weight then. And then I also was in a relationship that I wouldn't say was very happy. And this is a very common instance, isn't it? Um, and I wouldn't say that I was eating badly because of that person. Um, but that person had the opposite problem. He couldn't gain weight, and so he would stuff his face. He would starve basically for the whole day, and he wouldn't do it on purpose. He just wouldn't eat. He didn't feel hunger until the evening, and then he would just stuff his face and eat so much. Whereas I would eat normally during the day, and then in the evening I will join him in this sort of like stuffing my face. And a lot of the time we would eat takeaways, and takeaways are really boring to me now. I don't even think, oh, I want to take away, because most of the time, first of all, it's so expensive, and second, I can cook better than most of the takeaways. I'm actually a pretty good cook, and I just think, well, I could have made that at home, you know. There are only a few things that I just think I'm gonna go eat them out, like sushi, or perhaps some Chinese dishes. Because it's not easy to find the ingredients, and I don't have that much space to store all that stuff at home, and I can go once in a while, that's fine. But before, I would have them all the time, and I was always feeling so tired and lethargic. And the more I was feeling tired and lethargic, the more I was eating like that. But I also think the body expects it. You tell the body, I eat at 11:30. You eat at 11:30 every day for 10 days. On the 11th day, be sure you will be hungry at 11:30. And if you're not eating already, you will be hungry by 11:30, because you actually have created a new path in your brain. Like, your brain actually sort of like creates new paths, and you can reshape these things. You can say, no, I'm actually gonna eat from 1 o'clock. I don't know, and you eat every day at 1 o'clock for 10 days, and you maybe don't eat for, at first it's gonna be hard to not eat anything from, and I'm not saying you need to do it, but I'm just trying to explain. So I'm going to summarize a little bit. The message is, you need to do this for yourself, because you know that it will make your life better, because you will feel better physically and mentally. You will have more control. I don't know if you ever played a video game like Skyrim or the sort of open world, and you see this hero or heroine, sort of like, you lead them through this field, and you do all these sort of amazing things, and you fight and you jump, and it's that sort of. And I remember when I was playing video games thinking, God, I am so unfit. I could never. Well, most people couldn't run that fast, of course, because it's a fictional character in a video game, but not even a portion of what that person does. I'm so unfit, and I wish I could feel that free, like the character in the video game, that I could sort of like run through that field and not be out of breath so quickly, that I had control of my joints and my body, and that I wasn't tired all the time. And there are people out there who cannot do this for medical reasons, who have illnesses that prevent them to have control over their body and their shape. They have no choice. But if you do have a choice, why don't you make that choice? Why don't you bring yourself to be in a state where you can be freer, when you can do more, when you can sustain more, when you can think better? Why don't you do this for yourself? You could. And there are so many things that we cannot do in this world, because there are limitations, we like it or not. So I've told myself this, and I am now in a situation where not only I'm motivated, the doctor told me straight, and I actually mean to thank him, because I been sort of like going back and forth to the doctors, because I have this symptoms. My leg is swelling all the time. I can't even wear heels anymore, because aside from the fact that my feet hurt a lot of the time, although I feel so much better, I have lost just over 6 pounds, which is exactly 2.8 kilograms. It's not much, but I already feel so much better, and I've started working out 2 days ago. My muscles are very sore, but I feel really good, because I have sort of like taken the I've I taken the first step, and as I said, I don't know how the me in the future is going to be, but I'm gonna try again and again, once again, until I succeed. The things that are motivating me is that I want to start a family. And when I was a child, my mother's always had problems of weight. My mother still to this day, and she is shorter than me by a good 10 centimeters, and she weighs almost as much as I do. So she is severely overweight, but she's been bigger than this, and she couldn't do much at all. I remember how she struggled to go down the stairs. I have this picture of her in her 40s, maybe 40s, 50s, struggling to come down the stairs. Vasily was in late 40s, you know. My mother never had energy to play with me. We really didn't do those sort of things together. Even when I was a child, say she never sat down with me to play with dolls. The memory I have of my mother when I was a child is that she was always doing the laundry. Always, she was always in. She she was a good mother. She looked after us, you know, but she would always be there ironing or washing the clothes and putting them out and drying them, having them dry, and then she would iron everything. She would even iron the tea towels. And there was no need, I don't think, to have everything ironed. But because in Italy there's so much judgment, she didn't want to send us out in the world with our clothes wrinkled, you know. She wanted us to look good. She wanted the world to know she was looking after us properly, you know. And I appreciate this very much. But I also wish that I could have gone out with wrinkled shirts every every now and then, and I would have preferred for her to spend more time with me instead, because she was always working in the afternoon, so I didn't see much of her. But she really suffered for her weight, and she had a lot of like body image issues. She managed to lose quite a lot of weight a few years ago, and she looked really good, really healthy, like she looked happy. She she wasn't struggling as much anymore. And I want you to really understand this. The having too much weight on you, it's almost as if it's a physical representation of a weight that you're carrying inside your mind and your soul, and you shouldn't carry it. You should sort of drop it, leave somebody else carry that weight, because it's not yours to carry. It's not your burden. And it's not that you're ugly because you're carrying a burden. You are not a burden either. You are carrying one, and you shouldn't, because it's destroying you. It will get heavier as the years pass, because your bones will become weaker, your heart will become weaker, you will slowly decay. That's just how it is. But the burden will stay the same. If anything, you will get bigger. So, because if you get weaker, the burden weighs more. How can you come to me and tell me that this is okay? That is just society telling me that I should be different, blah 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 blah, and is sexist, and it's the patriarch that's got to do something with patriarchy or expectations. I don't really care about the expectations of a society. Actually, I don't really give a shit, because I am intelligent enough to understand that these are just superficial things. That society is basic, that there are problems that are just there, and they come and go, and they will not be solved until people solve them with themselves. Just, why do you care? Look at yourself in the mirror and think, am I happy with this? Can I do better for myself? What makes you think that eating something that will provide good substance for you, like good quality food, is got anything to do with what the world wants from you? Yeah. So to me, this burden, this weight that I have, is a burden that is stopping me from doing things that instead I want to do. I want to have a family. I am planning to have a pregnancy in a couple of years' time, and I already will have the burden of the child in my belly. And I had a terrible nightmare where I dreamt that I fell down the stairs of this house, which are pretty steep, because I'm always really sore, because I have plantar fasciitis, which is also connected to my weight being excessive. I dreamt that I fell down the stairs while with the child bearing the child, and I dreamt that I snapped my leg, and yet I was crying because I was terrified that I lost a child, and I cared not for the leg. I just cared that the child was okay, that I didn't lose the baby, and I was absolutely broken and burst. I was crying so much, and I woke up that morning thinking, I want to be healthier physically for a motherhood, a planned motherhood, or that I have. I want to be ready when this happens to me, and hopefully this will happen to me to have a child with the person I love. I really felt this deeply, and it's not that a woman who's overweight can't easily carry a child or have it good, but I genuinely, even with this weight, for me it's too much, and I don't care if it's okay for you. I don't care. It's fine. Good for you if it's okay for you. For me, it's too much. I have not used to be this way, and I know what it feels like to be lighter. And I want to feel like that again. I want to be able to do more, because I don't feel like I do much at all sometimes. I feel time goes both too fast and too slow. It's very hard to explain. I want to take control of what I can control. And believe me, that controlling what you can't control will make a huge difference, You should control what you can't control. And to those people who say, if you're losing weight, if you're losing fat, it's because you hate fat, and therefore you hate fat people. This says more about you than it says about me. Remember this. What does it say about you? You worry about what I think. You are worrying about what I think. And I don't even think about you. I don't even think about you. But you want me to include you. No, you want you want that I include you in my problem, or you want to include me in your problem. Yeah, I would say the second is the most accurate. You want to include me in your problem, but I am not included in your problem. Or you want to make me your problem when I am not your problem. You You made me one, but I am not your problem, am I? What I do with my body is not your problem, okay? It's really not. And I think people really need to focus on this. When you see a model in a newspaper who is very thin and whatever, you know, and as I said, beautiful, and you look at her and you think, ugh, disgusting, look at her, this is not natural beauty, blah blah blah. This is a reflection of what you think of yourself. Because when I look at these models in the magazines, I just think, oh, good for her. If she's happy. I don't know, this is a picture. If I spoke to this woman, maybe she will tell me, no, actually, this and that. Maybe it's got nothing to do with her body. Maybe she's just lost a dog or a husband, or a child is having a problem and she doesn't know how to help them. That's just a picture, and if they are happy in the body that they have, it's good for them. If they're unhappy with the body that they have, you feel compassionate and you say, do your best to change this however you can. And if you struggle, forgive yourself, So I'm going to carry on in this path. I am going to work out today. My muscles are very sore, as I mentioned, and therefore I'm going to do something a little bit lighter, perhaps some stretching, some yoga. I'm not trying to push myself over the limit with the exercise. I think the exercise won't help me so much to lose weight. It will help me to accelerate my metabolism if I build muscle. And I was also thinking about my fascia, how to basically sort of keep the body moving so I maintain mobility, because I actually am very stiff and I'm very unfit and I struggle to do a lot of movement. So I sort of like have to get used to move more and move my muscles more, basically. If I continue on this path, I'm sure eventually I will have a better look to myself, and I am free to do as I please. If I want to tone more some muscles other than others, I can do all these things. I can just say, I am light enough now. I've lost enough fat mass and it doesn't matter anything else, nothing else matters. I can do anything that I want. This is my body, but I want to believe that this is a positive decision, and I want to believe it's true that it is, because I can feel it, this positivity, this motivation, and I don't think I will ever be able to go back to how it used to be. I wasn't even worrying about what I was eating. There's too much crap available in the supermarkets in this country. There's a lot of fatty stuff in Italy as well, but like calorie rich, but somehow people don't reach for it as much. You tend not to, because there's a lot of good food that is just, even the fruit tastes so much better than it is here. So once I'm in this country, as long as I will be here, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a long time, I will have to watch. I will have to get to know what the food, the profile of the food, I really need to learn it. And if and when I have children, I will teach them. I will tell them about this, because your body will accompany you for the rest of your life, Nothing else will, Your family will move on one way or another. and your loved ones. I worked in care home, so I know this. There's a lot of solitude towards the end. But your body will be with you, and if you have mistreated it, it will come back to you in the last years of your life. It really will. I've seen it. So don't take this lightly. And yeah, we shall see how it goes.